Very soft, easy, breezy, cool, sexy sort of a film.
Sexy sort of a film, I like that.
With two good-looking actors doing the good-looking things.
I am happy but कर रहा हूँ यार उसी का प्रमोशन चल रहा है.
I love love stories. You know, I love watching love stories. I haven't done enough love stories in my career so far.
Like the chemistry should be the icing on the cake. It should not be the cake. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think both things are relevant in their own way.
It has this hair. It has this hair.
How much did Shahid give you in terms of to play?
Arey, he was giving a lot more because he was human. I have to restrict myself.
Hi Shahid, hi Kriti.
Hi.
Welcome to Midday. And I'll start with the fact that I love the trailer.
Thank
And
you.
it felt it felt so breezy and so refreshing, especially with the fact that we have been seeing such this big actioners.
Yeah.
And now to have this very soft, easy, breezy, cool, sexy sort of a film.
Sexy sort of a film, I like that.
With two good-looking actors doing the good-looking things and romancing each other. That's what also makes this very quintessential Hindi film. So thank you so much, first of all. As a viewer, it feels very good and exciting to go to theatres to watch something like
Awesome.
this.
Thanks. It's great to know that viewers are interested in seeing a genre like this. I mean, it's great because we haven't had it for a bit, right?
Yeah.
So we're also making it, wanting people to like say, hey guys, remember that one? I used to really like it. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's fun to bring it back, and I hope people like it.
And also the fact that you are coming with this, I think, because I don't know if you kind of keep a tab on how social media talks about you today. Of
course
they
it
go
Ask me about it.
they go back to those, to the initial films.
Look who's talking.
To the initial those romantic films that you did,
Yeah.
And how they want those romantic films to be back. And sometimes what happens is that as an industry we think, or the industry thinks that actioners are working big spectacle films. But sometimes what viewers really want is to just relax and have popcorn and see two people just being in love. And I think for Shahid, because you have carved that space as a romantic hero, I think also your fans are loving the fact that you're coming up with a very light-hearted romance. So for you to sign this film, did all these factors also play in your mind that let's do something light, let's do something which is you are loved for?
देखा क्या करो?
I am happy but कर रहा हूँ यार उसी का प्रमोशन चल रहा है. No, but while you were talking, what came to my mind was that you can either be extremely success oriented or you can be very creatively driven, and you can be like in the discovery of wanting to do different things and grow as an artist, right? Both things play, and I think you need to have a balance for both because both matter. However, I think with time as a fraternity, what's happening is we're looking for the audience to tell us, okay, now I want to watch this. Then we'll go around finding it. Then we'll go around making it. Then we'll put it out. By the time it's out, how do you know the audience still feels like that, right? So what is ideal, I think, like what at least right now what happened with me, and therefore I'm putting it out like that, is this one time it has happened like that with me, is that I was feeling like I want to change it up. I want to do something in this kind of a space. And I felt like I had grown up watching these movies, and as an audience, I'm missing them. And I don't know why we're not making enough good ones. Maybe the directors who aced them are now not as fresh as they were then.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to find new content, new directors, new faces that will bring the audience back to a genre which is so popular and so loved over so much time and has been definitive of my career. And I just found the script while I was thinking all those things, and I backed my feeling.
Yeah.
And I didn't wait for the audience to, it's like it's risky that you do that, but I just backed my feeling, and now people are saying, oh, we would have liked to see you, but that's coming as a reaction to the trailer as opposed to that's coming as a reaction and then I'm trying to find a film. So I just feel everything is a cycle, everything is a circle, and you just have to keep doing different things and growing and follow your gut, your instinct, because eventually we are also the audience. We also go to the theatre and watch movies, Everybody watches content, man. Content creators are also consuming content, right? So we should not separate ourselves from the audience, and you should just trust your inner voice sometimes when it comes and if you feel something strongly. And this film is a kind of like a result of that, of me just karte hain yaar, chalo. you know. And maybe because I was feeling it, I also did it with a lot of heart. Maybe that's what people, I don't know, you know, but that's the reason I did the film. And sometimes you should just go with what you feel, you know, because answers will come when they have to come. You can't, my job as an artist is to make a film and ask a question. Do you like it? Your job is to give me the answer. I can't, you know, it doesn't work like that. You can't
throw the
want
question
the
to
answer
us,
before posing the question. You have to be braver than that, you know.
Oh,
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Kriti, how did this film fit in what you were looking for in that particular time of your career?
I don't think I had a thing of ऐसी film करते हैं. You know, I was just looking for a film that makes me feel like, oh, you know, I want to be a part of this. And honestly, like, I like this genre. I love love stories. You know, I love watching love stories. I haven't done enough love stories in my career so far. People are not really writing them well. There are no new conflicts. And here was a love story that came to me which had a very unique conflict. And I think that is the USP of the film, because I would want to know if a human being falls in love with a robot who's so close to being a human. What happens? And when you take that love story and also you put it in the middle of like an Indian family, then what happens? So I feel like I was actually very entertained when I was hearing it, and that was the main point. You know, I was really in it. I was feeling the romance. I was wanting them together. I was feeling those awe moments. I was laughing. You know, towards the end, I was almost rolling. You know, so it made me wanna watch this film. You know, when I heard it, that's the first ghanti. You know, I would say, and I think I mean, there's been a lot of like. Coincidentally, it's coming at a time where there's been a lot of action and like really heavy stuff and all. I'm someone who time and again goes back to watching Friends, you know, because at times you just want something light and
very
refreshing.
comfort,
And at the same time, you want to go to the theatre with your entire family and make it like, you know, I mean, it used to be an event to like, उस weekend पे चलो, you know, इस weekend पे सब लोग घर पे जाओ movie देखने जाते हैं. So I think this is that film that, you know, you can watch it with your family, with your bunch of friends, with your Valentine, because it's coming the Valentine's week. So it's that family entertainer which is made for everyone.
But you know, to both of you, what's the key to get romance right on screen? Like so many actors tell me that, like there is a set of actors who would say that it's on the paper. You know, the chemistry is always on the paper. Two good actors might fail to bring a certain chemistry on screen if the writing is not strong. Then I maybe as a viewer feel that sometimes there is an inherent vibe, or there is something, there's some equation between two actors which just, you know, sparkles on screen. You have of course done so many romantic films, and your chemistry with your co-stars is always talked about. What would you tell me, what's the key to get the chemistry right in a romance?
It's both. I think both of those things matter. Of course, there is an X factor which comes alive on camera. People think it's there everywhere. No, you know, camera is camera. Two people who might have great chemistry might not look so interesting when the camera comes on, you know.
Yeah.
So I think the camera has its own kind of universe. And in that universe, sometimes the spark happens, right? And of course, the writing is fundamental, because regardless of the spark, two people just on chemistry can pull a film up to some degree, but it's like you'll be carrying this heavy load throughout, right? And at some point it's going to give. So you'd much rather have something strong on paper, and then when you, like, the chemistry should be the icing on the cake, it should not be the cake, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think both things are relevant in their own way, for sure.
Right. Kriti, what would you say?
I mean, I think you have to be firstly very comfortable with the other person in general, because when you're making scenes, chemistry is two-way. You know, मैं ही करी जा रही हूँ वो कुछ अगर आगे से मुझे कुछ मिल नहीं रहा है तो it's not gonna.
तेरे साथ?
I mean, it's been like okay, like that. But I think when you have someone who's a great actor in front of you, also you're comfortable, then it can really become magic.
How much did Shahid give you in terms of to play?
He was giving a lot more because he was human. I had to restrict myself. Yeah.
That's such a tricky trope to also kind of like slope to a walk on, right? Like to be restrained, to be this robotic, but to not be robotic in acting, right?
Yeah,
like people should not be like, "Arey, ye kya? Ye to robotic hai." People should know that you are a robot, but you also like with a human and falling in love. That's I feel it's a very tricky thing to balance.
It's exactly what you just said. In fact, honestly. It is tricky because he has to, and he's playing a robotics engineer who's really sharp guy. He's not a dumb guy. So if he's falling in love with this robot, there has to be something so human about her, you know. And yet the audience knows in that she's not human. So there has to be something not so human about her, you know. So I think that was the tricky thing. I hope people get convinced and they like it.
Right. You know, Shahid, you have such an interesting career. I also feel because you have always been a star. Like your debut, you rose into stardom with that, and I feel that you've carried that I would say the load of it so beautifully because you've always experimented with your choice, which is very anti-stardom. You know, familiarity, somebody told me, is what stardom, you know, requires, and experimentation is what acting requires. But you've always,
so nice.
you always have balanced that. But I always feel as a viewer that has it ever happened the star Shahid Kapoor has ever dissuaded or interfered with the actor in you and told you maybe not right now, maybe it's too much of a risk?
I don't know, like this separating star and actor. Like to me, it's always like the actor in me makes me the star that I am. You know, so I feel like that's how I see it deep down. You know, because you said, you know, familiarity gives stardom. But do you really want to have that familiarity when you go to the theatre? Yeah, but then I also have to keep you interested, right? If you think you know everything about me, where's the fun? I should be, that's what's the cinema for me is like. I go in there and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? You know, those are the films I love the most. I also feel we're now in a time where people can get bored of something very fast, you know, so maybe stardom in that context was relevant 20 years back because you got to watch a star only in the theatre. And so you'd rather see something that you're seeing every day, but today it's not like that, you know, you see a star everywhere, you know, so I think it's the characters that you play that are going to, you know, give people that experience that they're not already having off camera. You know, and you know, and I think our generation of actors cannot be hiding behind something and, you know, staying away from the media. It won't be natural for us to do that. You know, I think we've grown up in that atmosphere that we are accessible. We can control it to some degree. We don't want to overdo it, but people have seen us now. Yeah, you go to a cafe, you'll get papped. That was not the case 10 years back. So our stardom has been built at a time where it is far more challenging. Because I've been here for 20 years, I've seen both sides. You know, so I had a sense of that side, and then I saw it transition. And today, when I look at it, I think it's a lot more difficult today to hold on to your stardom. And I think it is your talent, it is your craft. It is the choices that you make, and it is the consistency with which you try and give the audience something that re-excites them, reignites their interest in you, that is going to keep your stardom. So I think the safe choice now is the unsafe choice. I think unsafe choices are safer today. That's how I look at it. That's my personal perspective. You know.
And I think that also increases the longevity of a star.
If you get it right, you're also risking the fact that, you know, you're doing things that you don't know if you'll get it right. So, you know, high risk, high return, stock market, low risk, no return, mutual fund, decide who you are.
But Kriti, I wanted to, you know, when he talked about opportunities and risks, what I felt is that one of the biggest risks everybody says a female star could take is turn a producer, right? Earlier it used to be, earlier it used to be, oh, you turn a producer when you're at the fag end of your career. But things have been changing, thankfully, with
That's not
so
the
many.
case, you know, so many actors who are now superstars turned producers almost 2 decades
I would say
back.
female stars. For female stars, it used to be very different because.
No, but you know, this was
But what's
told
the
to me,
logic
by the way.
behind this?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
get
know.
it. Like,
No,
male,
the
female
logic,
mein
what
kya
I was
farak
going
padega?
for was that there used to be a time when female stars would be expected to maybe turn producers or go
Once they're
behind
done
the
with their
screen.
acting career.
Yeah, but today the things have changed so much because an Anushka Sharma started producing when, of course, she was doing films as a leading star. Deepika, you, and I felt that this is such a refreshing change. And I was speaking to Kanika Dillon, who's written and co-produced Do Patti with you. She told me something so interesting that even today, when successful women, you know, go for production, people don't take them as seriously because they believe, oh, ये तो actresses है या ये writers है, इन्हें production के बारे में इतना क्या पता होगा. And she said that's why we wanted more women in our team. And to that, I wanted to ask you that have you ever felt something like this when you were announcing or when you were contemplating turning a producer that Kriti, right now you're at the peak of your career?
No, it's not about peak of your career also. It was just, you know, it's too soon for you to turn producer. And I had the same reaction, but what's the logic? Like honestly,
Yeah.
my agenda or the reason why I wanted to turn a producer was more about finding and supporting scripts and being more involved than what I am when I'm just performing as an actor, you know, in the whole process of making the film. I feel like I'm a creative person. I enjoy that. You know, when I'm involved in a script and when I get really passionate about it, I actually want to not limit myself to just being an actor, but get involved in every side of it. And I got into production more for the creative side of it, but I feel like it's also something new. I don't know everything about it yet, and that's what's exciting. Every now and then you have to kind of shift the gear, and you kind of have to want to do something different that you don't know, you know, that you can learn. I like that. I like being a newcomer in some way in certain fields and, you know, sort of learning everything from scratch. I think acting is something I've learned on the job. So for me, it was the next step, and it's something that I was looking forward to, and you know, something new, something challenging. That's it.
But while wrapping up, congratulations for Deva also, because that's something I think everyone's so looking forward to. You going a very, I'm supposing it is a very pan-India sort of a film, and it's of course also being made by such an acclaimed director. So on that note, is there something you could share with us about Deva, or you know, something that perhaps your fans would also love to hear?
It has this hair. It has this hair.
It has the hair for sure. It has me for sure. It's directed by a Malayalam director,
Yes.
Roshan Andrews, and my co-actors. There are a few, but the heroine of the film is Pooja Hegde, and it is an action thriller. And I'm playing a very raw, rugged, rustic character, and yeah, I think that's how much I can tell you. It comes out on the 11th of October, and yeah, so just gonna finish promotions and deep dive back into it, because it's been very exciting shooting for the film. It's a great character for me to play. So yeah.
Well, I think such interesting choices both of you are making. So looking forward to the crew also, and of course in Do Patti. So thank you so much
Thank
you.
for this, and I can't wait to watch this on the Valentine's.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.